As the sunlight fades into autumn gloom, the rustling of leaves in the cool, dim air gives proof of the coming season. Overhead, the insidious cackle of witches flying pierce the darkness. Horrid figures of silent phantoms stalk desolate paths and candle-lit hallways. And all manner of things, goblins, banshees, and vampires, hide amongst the growing shadows. Thus begins October. Blackwater Media presents Halloween Horrors. Growing up, I'd always had a problem with sleeping. Many times I'd get sleep paralysis, but I actually had my room blessed. And it didn't happen for months after that. What I'm going to tell you happened about a year ago. I woke up in the middle of the night, frozen. If I tried to move, I'd get a really loud ringing noise in both ears, and it would get louder each time I moved, and I was terrified. I was too scared to open my eyes, but I felt a presence of someone in the room with me. My room wasn't completely dark because I had a small blue nightlight. I opened my eyes and saw a very tall and dark figure with two horns on each side of its head just standing there in the corner of my room facing me. I panicked and tried to move my body. The ringing got louder and louder and louder, and I could feel myself crying. I closed my eyes, and in my head started saying, "God will protect me. God will protect me." Then I heard a low and evil-sounding voice say,
"God can't help you anymore."
I bought a new house in a small town called Winthrop. The house was cheap, but the most important part was that I needed to get away from the city. A few months ago, I had a run-in with a stalker. While I managed to get him arrested, I couldn't shake the feeling of eyes just constantly watching me. I felt like there were eyes everywhere, at home and on the street. So I decided to move out into the country to somewhere with fewer people, just for peace of mind. The house itself was big and somewhat old, but otherwise very welcoming. The agent who introduced me to the house had been required to mention that a serial killer had lived here in the past, which was why the house was so cheap. However, he, and later my next-door neighbor Sarah, both told me to pay the thought no mind. 4 other owners had lived in the house since then, and all of them were very happy with it. I love the house. Its interior furnishings were beautiful and very comfortable. The people of Winthrop were friendly, often bringing over freshly baked pastries or inviting me over for dinner. Get-togethers, they said, were the key to making sure everyone who lived in Winthrop loved it there. Yet after a week, I stopped loving it. The feeling of someone watching returned, worse than before. I tried to ignore it, but soon after I started losing sleep. Giant bags grew under my eyes and I began yawning almost as much as I breathed. Sarah was kind enough to let me stay in her house for a few nights. It was during this time that I heard the legend of Forrest Carter, the serial killer who had lived in my house. While no one knows his exact kill count, Carter, also known as the Winthrop Peacock, was a man with an extremely severe case of narcissism. Legends say he couldn't fall asleep if he didn't feel like he was being watched. He was finally arrested for putting up a scarecrow to watch him during the night. Only it wasn't a scarecrow. Carter had murdered a 17-year-old girl just so her corpse could stare at him. The story gave me shivers, and after I went home, I felt like there were hundreds of pairs of eyes just watching me, no matter how I turned. Today, however, was the first day I acted out. I was cooking breakfast when I felt the eyes. Instinctively, out of fear, I threw my kitchen knife, which lodged itself into the wall. As I pulled it out, I found myself staring at a pair of eyes, pickling in formaldehyde. I've been watching the police peel away the drywall of my house for hours now. So far, they found 142 pairs of eyes in little glass jars. The scariest thing was, everyone was staring at me. Thank you for listening. I'm Dr. William Lester, coming to you from the studio of Blackwater Media in the great city of Atlanta. And I'd like to wish you all a very happy Halloween.